Welcome into Palmetto Sports Daily. It is Wednesday, but it is also National Girls and Women in Sports Day, so we're celebrating the day for all of the women and girls in this industry. I'm the only girl on the show today, but you know what? I love it. It's great. I love this show. I love talking sports with all of you guys. So I thought I would start out, our conversation today just talking a little bit about some of the women in sports that, we've looked up to or we've appreciated over time. So I'll start out for me. I'll name two. Beth Mowins, the play-by-play broadcaster who's done about every sport on about every channel and so many major sports events. I love looking up to her so much. She actually went to my high school, Cicero North Syracuse High School, and she went to Syracuse University for her graduate degree. So she's a huge inspiration for me. And then also a woman actually playing sports, Jessica Pegula. You guys know that I am a tennis player, a tennis fan. I love her charity work with Lending Paws, where she helps people get dogs, and she helps get them adopted. So off the court, she's really cool too. So those are my two. Kevin, how about you?
Yeah, I would start off with Debbie Antonelli, of course, a huge college basketball player up at NC State. She's got her number retired up there. And, of course, she's gone on to amazing things in the broadcasting booth as well. She lives here in Charleston. Her family has become synonymous with basketball here in the Low Country. And it's just been great to have her as a friend over these last couple of decades. So I would say Debbie. And then for a player, having what's been the Family Circle Cup and now the Charleston Cup and the Charleston Open here. Seeing Serena Williams play a couple times live has just been just mind-blowing. And the things just mathematically that she's able to do physically with the ball and the racket has just been really impressive to see. How about you, Carmine?
Yeah, well, I definitely have a few, and I'm very happy that this is how we're leading the show. Laura Rutledge at ESPN. I used to work at ESPN. She was so kind and nice. And also, I love that video that recently came out of her running from, I believe it was doing sideline interviews to the set to host the halftime show. And she's just such a hard worker and such a combination of grit and grace on camera. And, her work ethic is off the charts. But she was so nice to me at ESPN. I definitely want to point her out. I also want to applaud everyone in the boxes here because all four of our sports departments have at least one woman working currently in the sports department. So that's pretty awesome. And here we have two of them, Ella Grogan and Caroline Soro. And so those are probably my top two favorite, along with Teagan as well, women in sports, and Julia Westerman and Bronwyn. But I want to shout out our two women in sports here because just incredible for their age and where they're at in a top 40 market. For Caroline, recently earning the Kansas Association of Broadcasters Sports Feature of the Year. And for Ella Grogan, joining our team straight out of graduation at Furman University, almost unheard of to go from graduating to a top 40 market. And she had a major hand in starting the Furman journalism program at Furman University. So very proud of all the women in sports and especially those who we get to interact with and work with. Rick, and you have a great one on your staff as well.
Yes, Julia Westerman doing a great job for us. And Teagan, happy Girls and Women in Sports Day. Okay, looking back at the girls and the women that have had an influence on me, I have to go way back to when I was in elementary school, going to Pine Forest School, which was the black school in McBee before integration. So you had grades 1 through 12, and the high school basketball teams, they were probably the first sports teams that I cheered for. The girls team, some of them were actually babysat me, so I would be cheering my little heart out for them to bring home a victory. And during the course of my career, Sylvia Hatchell, former basketball coach at Francis Marion, where she won 2 national championships, she went on to North Carolina to win another national championship. When I was covering her, she had All-American Center I was going to do a feature on, but they were so far ahead by the time I got to the game, and she was on the bench. And so I sat behind the bench, and I asked the assistant coaches, hey, is Tracy going back in the game? I said, probably not. I said, why? You need her in there? I said, yeah, I need to get a few shots of her. So they talked to Sylvia. They put her back in the game, and the whole time I'm going, don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. She didn't get hurt, and it was a great feature. And then, of course, Dawn Staley, what she has done here at the University of South Carolina, incredible, because I remember going to games where we would call the crowds, the MCI crowd, family and friends, and to see it loaded to the rafters with passionate fans and 3 national championships, just an unbelievable job. So, yeah, those are some of my favorites. Teagan.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you guys have given me even more women to look into in this industry, to learn about them. Also, in our sports department here, we're an all-female sports department. Jill Schumacher, our sports reporter, just started a couple of months ago. So really great to see so many more women getting into the industry, and hopefully we can inspire some more. But we're going to talk some basketball now, some women's basketball, of course, sticking with the theme of the day. Coastal Carolina getting ready to take on Arkansas State tonight. The gals are coming off of a loss to Troy last Friday, but, they found a little bit more chemistry in that game. Kristen Williams continuing to dominate from the three-point line, and then also Tessa Grady and a couple of the freshmen on this team have really stepped up. So Coastal's getting ready to take on, a bit of a tougher Ark State team. They're a little bit higher in the SBC standings, and Coastal has been struggling this season in Sunbelt play, so they're looking for that road win tonight. How about the Gamecocks, Rick?
Oh, yeah, the USC women. Yeah, they are, they're coming off a nice road win, and now they're going to have a 2-game homestand. They're going to be going against Mississippi State on tomorrow night, and Coach Staley would not tell us if Tanaya Latson and Agat McCure would be playing, because they sat out the previous game with some leg injuries. She said, hey, we'll have to wait until the latest injury report comes out, which will be tonight. And, of course, we got Gamecock softball starting up tomorrow, the 12th-ranked Gamecocks going against 19th-ranked Virginia Tech in the opening game of the Gamecock Invitational. And, of course, South Carolina coming off a fantastic season last year, 44-17. They were a top national seed, came within 1 game of making it to the College World Series. They've got, she's got some good returning players, including Ariana Rhodey, who set the single-season home run record for the Gamecocks. But head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard said, okay, that was last year, it was great, but it's time for us now to write our new chapter.
Really excited. I think you can feel the momentum. I think sometimes when you do certain things and you get the program in a certain place, there's no looking back. So I do think that last year and everything that we accomplished last year is definitely bleeding into what's to come for this year in this team. As a coach, you don't want them to feel like they have to live up to last year's team, but to be able to create their own identity and almost build on the legacy that we left last year with last year's group.
Okay, she also has 14 new players, and she says the team is going to have more power this year. So I'm looking forward to see them in action starting tomorrow. Teagan?
Yeah, great to see that we're getting more towards softball season. And Carmine, I know a Clemson softball program younger. I think they're 5, 6 years old now. They haven't been around all that long, but how are they preparing for the season?
Yeah, like you said, Teagan, just 7 years, and they have reached the super regionals of the NCAA tournament 3 times, but no College World Series appearances. So that's the main thing on the mind of Coach John Rittman and all the returning players. They lost Reese Basinger, which was the ACC Pitcher of the Year last year. So she graduated, moved on, but they're still ranked top 15 in the country. They're returning young talent like ACC Freshman of the Year last season, Macy Cintron, and adding some new talent as well. But they were just 1 run away. Not even 1 game. I mean, very similar to the Gamecocks women, just 1 run away from making the College World Series, which would have been their first one in program history. And they weren't just 1 run away from any team, 1 run away from beating Texas, the eventual national champion in the Super Regional. So close, and that slight disappointment, but really mainly a heartbreak of coming up 1 run short, is fueling them for this season.
I think them being in the championship game just showed like what we're capable of, and that could have been us. And I think we have a great shot this year at going far.
We did leave some loose ends last year, and I know us returners were like really excited to get back so we can prove that we still have more in the tank. I feel like our program's done a lot in such a short amount of time, and so like we're so grateful to be able to be a part of that, especially like how young we are and how fresh this team is, I feel like. And so I'm just excited to get on the field to prove that we have more.
And that will start in a tournament in Florida. First game tomorrow against Southeast Louisiana State, which is a pretty good softball team as well. Then they have a ranked matchup against Oregon and some big opponents coming throughout the weekend on top of that. We have much more to come as well. We're going to talk to we're preview some men's basketball teams, and then also football signing day for the Gamecocks and Tigers in just a minute. Welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. On this day, a very happy day, National Girls and Women in Sports Day. The Clemson women play at a ranked North Carolina team tomorrow, but tonight, a West Coast swing for the Clemson men, ranked 20th in the country. They're visiting Stanford, and then in a few days they'll visit Cal. So it's a strange situation because the Atlantic Coast Conference, all of a sudden maybe they should write a little asterisk in there, PCC, the Pacific Coast Conference, because this is Clemson men's basketball's first road trip to the West Coast since Cal and Stanford joined the ACC, because Cal and Stanford played at Little John last year, and this year Clemson returning the favor. So they're heading out west, 10 p.m. tip-off time, a late one at Stanford, and Brad Brownell and the 20th ranked Tigers have an 8-1 record in the ACC, only behind Duke in the conference standings, which is currently undefeated, and Clemson is also 18-4 overall, coming off their 15th straight win over Pitt. Just domination of the state of Pennsylvania, and specifically Pittsburgh, for the Tigers. 15 straight wins, just incredible. And so I asked Coach Brad Brownell about any adjustments his team might have to make for not only the late tip-off time, but also their first long trip to the West Coast as part of what's still called the ACC.
We're not trying to make too much of it. I think it's just the next game. It's what you have to deal with, right? It's the hard part a little bit is it takes you out of your normal rhythm. I think we all like to be in a rhythm. We like routine. I think we've done an incredible job of kind of building our routine of how we play and how we go about doing things on the road. And it's been very successful for our program, especially these last couple years. But no matter how you do it, when you go out west, you're a little bit at the mercy of the West Coast schools and times of practices and shoot-arounds. And so your routine is going to be a little different, and you just have to adjust. And hopefully our guys are going to do that, and we'll play well this week.
On paper, you would have to pencil in a win for Clemson in this matchup because, like I said, they're second place in the ACC with an 8-1 conference record. Stanford down toward the bottom with a 3-6 conference record. And the good thing, one of the reasons I'm confident in this team is because it is a team with so many diverse scorers and guys stepping up, 7 different leading scorers this season. But also, Teagan, defense travels all the way even to the West Coast. So Brad Brownell and the team, second place in the ACC, only giving up around 64 points per game, and they just smother these opponents, get them so uncomfortable, slow the pace to a grinding halt. So I'm thinking 2 wins for Clemson, but we'll have to see with all those adjustments on the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on paper it looks like that, but of course the change in routine can have its effects. I know that something Justin Gray, the head coach of Coastal Carolina men's basketball, has talked about is, when they're on the road, they find a little bit more consistency, honestly, than when they're at home. Because when they're on the road, the coaches are controlling everything these players are doing. They're controlling when they eat, when they watch film. Whereas at home, it's a little bit more up in the air because guys are at their apartments during the day. They're out and about with their friends. So, yeah, hopefully Clemson can pull off a win and, get their routine there. Coastal Carolina, so hoping to get a win. But tonight against Arkansas State, it will be a whiteout game in the HTC Center as the Chants take on the Red Wolves. And the Chants are 14-10 on the year. It's their best season since the 2021 to 2022 season. And, fans have really been biting into this team. They've been really excited all year. The games have been full. A very different story than 2 years ago when I first started covering this team, and it was the season split between Cliff Ellis and Benny Moss after he retired. But Coastal Carolina has Rashid Jones, A.J. Dantzler, Josh Beadle. Those have been the three guys all season making a huge difference. Dantzler had 32 points against their last opponent, so hoping that he's going to be a big playmaker again in this one. And if the Chants keep going on this path, they can set themselves up really well for this Sun Belt tournament, something they have not been able to do the last couple of years. Now, Kevin, I know outside of college basketball, we have a little bit of NBA news, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the trade deadline just a day away, coming up tomorrow afternoon on Thursday. And for the second straight year, Porter Gaud alum Chris Middleton traded on the day before the trade deadline. Last year, it was going from Milwaukee to Washington. This year, part of a mega deal, as Washington's sending 4 players to Dallas in exchange for Anthony Davis and 3 other players, a bunch of draft picks moving around as well. So 8 players in total. I believe it's 5 total draft picks also being moved from Washington to Dallas in exchange for Anthony Davis and a few other players. So basically, Middleton played one season, the end of last season and the beginning of this season with the Wizards. Not his best numbers that he's put up, just a little over 10 points, almost 4 rebounds, a little over 3 assists per game, as he's in the final year of what was a 3-year, $102 million contract. He will be a free agent coming up when this season ends. Not sure if he intends to keep playing or if he's looking to wind things down. This is, I believe, his 14th year in the league. He's 35 years old. Almost 35 years old. So it's been a great career for Middleton. I'm not sure if there's another stop coming for him after Dallas. Obviously, he was kind of put into this trade just to make the numbers work salary-wise, because his $33 million and Anthony Davis's big contract, those kind of line up a little bit better than most others. So that's pretty much the main reason he's on the move. I'm not really sure if he's going to be part of any playoff push here. Dallas in 12th place in the West right now. So he might just be biding his time in Dallas before he decides what he's going to do next season. But part of what's been an amazing career, including an NBA championship, Olympic gold medal for the Porter Gaud alum Chris Middleton. We've got college football to talk about after this break, so we will see you then.
And welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. This is also National Signing Day for high school athletes, the first day of a signing period where they can put their names on the dotted line of the college of their choice. And to show you how this day has changed over the years, USC head football coach Shane Beamer had a press conference, which he always does on signing day, both in December and February. But this one was at 11 o'clock in the morning. Normally, it's around 4 o'clock as the coaches wait in for confirmation that people have signed. But in this new era of college football especially, their signing class basically was all signed in December. And the main topic of conversation during today's press conference, the transfer portal. Shane said that they were meeting some of their goals, their areas of need. The offensive line added some running backs, but they wanted to get older. And he used as an examples Indiana, this season's national champion. They were one of the older teams in the country. Vanderbilt. So following that model, here's what Shane had to say about the transfer portal.
I was just meeting with some of the older guys on our team this morning and talking about that I knew, and I've said this before to you guys, I knew we were going to be better in 2024 than people thought on the outside because we had so much veteran leadership, older guys coming back. And it's certainly something that we always want to do. And there's no question about it. We've definitely gotten older. I mean, you look at the people that we signed in the portal, they're not just older guys, but they've got a lot of production. They've played a lot of football. They have a ton of experience. They've been through battles, and we didn't have enough of that last year. We've certainly increased that and wanted to be very aggressive in trying to get not just older guys, but certainly production, and we've definitely gotten older.
And Shane says the high school football players will still be their main priority when they talk about recruiting. He says during the last 2 weeks of the month of January, he was in 11 different states visiting 31 high schools, recruiting high school athletes. Carmine.
Yeah, I was listening to the Shane Beamer press conference too, and I couldn't believe he said 43 transfer portal visits in a 14-day span. Just pretty incredible how this has changed. Same thing for Clemson football, only signing 3 new players today, adding on to their class of 20 freshmen, 10 transfer players, and 3 signing today. One of them, wide receiver from Nashville, Tennessee, Cam Blivens. He was a finalist for Mr. Basketball in the state, scored more than 2,000 points in basketball. So he's a versatile athlete, also a great high jumper as well. And Andy Berberija, the first junior college signee ever for Clemson football, straight from junior college to Clemson. He was a first-team All-American in junior college. And this was an interesting one as well. Keel McGriff, who is a wide receiver out of Gainesville, Florida, and his father and grandfather, both all SEC wide receivers at Florida. So we'll be interested to find out what made him come to Clemson when we get to know these young men. We will see you right on the other side to wrap up the show in just a moment.
Welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. We're going to wrap things up here on National Girls and Women in Sports Day. I know we started the show talking about some of our favorite women and girls in the sport, whether it be in the booth or on the field. So I just want to leave any of the gals watching this with one last piece of advice. If you are not finding opportunities in the field, create them yourself. Reach out to teams, reach out to broadcasters, ask questions, create your own opportunities. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.